I'm Nate Jackson.
And I'm Eben Britton.
And this is the Caveman Poet Society. Sounds like a poet to me. Hello, this is the Caveman Poet Society. Welcome to another episode. My name is Nate Jackson. With me, as always, is Eben Britton. What's up?
Ow!
What's up, dude?
Hey, brother.
How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Fired up.
Yeah.
Another great day.
Super great day.
Beautiful day in L.A.
Beautiful.
Great guest.
Great guest.
Gandalf.
Gandalf the dog.
Jed Bauer.
Jed Bauer the producer. Ha!
Could it get any fucking better than that?
I don't think so.
We're doing what we love.
Yeah.
Spreading the gospel.
That's right.
Before I let you introduce our guest for today, let's do a quick PSA. Guys, listeners, friends, let's take another step towards disconnecting ourselves from our phone today.
Turn it off.
Whatever it is, maybe give yourself an hour.
Maybe two.
Maybe 2 hours without the phone. Listen to the podcast, jam it on your phone. If you're doing it on the phone, put it in your pocket. If it's on a laptop, put your phone away. Maybe go for a run, go for a walk. Put the phone down. Give yourself some time away from the phone. It'll do you some good.
Damn right. You know, and also what I found is actually just leave it at home. Go somewhere and leave it.
I love
if you got to go somewhere for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, leave the phone. And then you come back. Whoa. The coolest thing is when you come back and no one has texted and no one has called. You're like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm really excited to have a good friend of mine in the studio today as our guest. She's a close friend of my fiance, soon to be my wife. Yay! In 3 weeks from now, I'm getting married. Ruby Marez is an actor, a comedian, a writer, and an all-around swell human being, also a joy maker.
Professional joy maker.
Professional.
Yeah.
And we wanted to bring her in today to talk specifically about Burning Man.
Ow!
Burning Man.
Burning Man just ended. You just got back from Burning Man.
Just got back yesterday.
And I've always been curious about it. Never been. And I know a lot of our listeners probably have heard about it, but have never been. And so I want to bring in someone who knew. So before we get into it, Burning Man, for those who don't know, is an annual event. And it's in Black Rock City, which is a temporary city erected in the Black Rock Desert of northern Nevada. It was first held 32 years ago in 1986 on Baker Beach in San Francisco by just a couple guys who wanted to create some cool event. It got too big for that area, and so they had to move it. They moved it to the desert in the 90s. And each year has a theme. This year's theme was I, Robot.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into. But there are 10 principles to I guess, the experience. And I'll list those, and then I'll let you get into your experience. But one of them is radical inclusion, self-reliance, self-expression, community cooperation, civic responsibility, gifting, decommodification, participation, immediacy, and leaving no trace. So, let's get into it, Ruby. Tell me about your experience getting there, being there, and coming home. How did it start?
Well, first, can I clear up 2 things?
Of course.
Those 10 principles. Do we need anything else? Like, just make number 11 like consent. Consent for everything. Consent all the way. Otherwise, first of all, it's not fun. And 2, like, let's not traumatize people while we're here on Earth. My fellow astral beings. Boy, I sound real Burning Man right now.
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
Get Burning Man.
The second thing, and I could be wrong, I'll check on it during the break, but the first Burning Man on Baker's Beach, the guy, I believe his name, Larry
Ted.
Harvey, who passed away.
Was
it Ted?
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
I'll confirm on Wikipedia. He went through a breakup. His girlfriend started dating a new guy, and he decided to burn an effigy on Baker's Beach.
Of the guy or of her?
Just like it was a man effigy, so I'm assuming it was like a fuck you to him,
right.
You know?
Right.
But that kind of support of your friends to be like, you want to do what to get over your breakup? Okay, I'll be there. Like that kind of yeah, support and like love from friends is
To help get through a trauma.
It's what it was founded on.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Does it get better than that?
No, and now there's
No.
70,000 people going to the desert for that.
Yeah.
So-
It is a city. Like, it is impossible for me to describe the scale. And this is my second year, and I kept screaming, like, it's a city. It's a huge city. It's so hard sometimes to meet up with people or to get
Right.
across the playa, which is like the center of town, to the other side. It's a city. It's crazy that humans are capable of erecting it and taking it down in 2 months' time. You know, the
Wow.
festival, or it's not a festival, the experience is a week, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a year-long process. Now it's ending. They're cleaning it up, leave no trace.
Right.
There's people that pick up matter out of place. It's called moop. And they spend like 3 weeks making sure like not one piece of plastic or steak or anything is left, that it looks like completely abandoned by the end of the event, which I love thoroughness.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and you
For
don't
sure.
really get that around here.
no.
It's kind of a dirty city we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I just found out about the Santa Monica, right? The Santa Monica beach has like a sewage line.
Oh, really?
That
That
goes
goes
into-
right out there?
Yeah.
So we're swimming in poop when we go out there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of touristy towns are starting to have that problem because, their sewage can't support the amount of tourism. Like Sayulita in Mexico. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's this really cool little covey beach community, but it's been flooded by terrorists because it's a really hip place to terrorists.
Terrorists.
Tourists. Basically terrorists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was interchangeable
Flooded by
there.
tourists, and therefore the bay has been flooded by poop
Oh,
because
no.
they don't have the infrastructure to support that many people. But getting back to Black Rock City, how do you get there?
Okay. It is a pilgrimage. If you've read Canterbury Tales, it's similar to that. Like, everything probably can and will go wrong in some capacity en route and when you're exiting. And that's kind of what I like about it. Like, I wonder how I'm going to, like, solve this crisis. My friend Brooke and I went together this year. We left L.A. very delayed because I had a very bad cold the week before. Had to get on antibiotics, like took antibiotics maybe 8 hours before I was leaving for the trip.
Your last?
The first
Oh,
dose.
so you were on antibiotics the entire trip?
It was just a 3-day, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
so like
okay.
halfway.
Yeah.
And I was just feeling it. You know, you have to prepare, at least for me, I prepared all my meals ahead of time because it's easier and you know how much food you'll consume to some degree there. So we packed up the car, we're getting ready to leave, and we look underneath and there's a leak coming from the car. And I was like, I refuse to unpack this car. No, this is a car we're taking. How are we going to solve this? And then I looked at it and I was like, I think it's just water. It's not oil. And then I put my finger on and I was like, yep, it's water. Like, let's go. It was just like the condensation from the car sitting with the
Right.
AC on while we packed it up.
All right.
And then you can drive there. There's buses that drive there too. And there's also a few planes. I mean, I think the very wealthy people of the world probably do that option. But
Where
like,
do they fly to?
there's an airport
In
in Black Rock City.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So some of the more wealthy kind of tech mogul people are starting to go there.
Yeah.
And does that create a kind of class division within the people there?
You really cannot tell who is who
That's
or like who has money. Everyone is just covered in dirt and in their own like
Costume, right?
and costume. Yeah, or naked. So it's not you can't, my friend during Shabbat sat next to Nick Kroll and he like had to do a couple glances. I was like, is that Nick Kroll? I think that's Nick Kroll. That's Nick Kroll.
Oh, really?
Because you just can't really tell. And like, who cares? My other friend danced with P. Diddy and was like, it was fine, but like it doesn't matter there that you're P. Diddy or Nick Kroll or whoever. Like
Yeah.
we're all in the same space having wild adventures and there's no ability to see class there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll see some glam vans and be like, that person probably is rolling in some money, but
Right.
you know, there's pluses and minuses to flying in and missing that drive-in experience. On our way out, there was an accident in the city right when you exit the gates, so they had to shut down the gates for a while. So everybody's stuck in line for 3 to 5 hours.
Well, I heard the same was on the way in because there was a bad dust storm. And
Yeah.
it was desert conditions there.
Yeah.
So people were sitting there for hours, 8-10 hours in their car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you
Like,
going to do? Oh, well, you're there for a week, so you got nowhere else to go. So it's like, fuck it, right?
Yeah. And also, like, start making a fun time. Like, my friend had a deck of cards in her car, and I had a table on my lap, and I was like, let's start playing card games with our neighbors. And we all just got out of our cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then everyone was bringing food out of their car to share, and it was just it was a block party.
So it's basically exactly like a traffic jam on the 405.
Exactly like it.
Everyone just loving each other,
Yeah.
like helping each other out.
Right.
Sharing food and playing card games.
So it's almost instantly the whole attitude toward life shifts when you're on that journey. Now like
if you have a choice.
right.
You
Right.
can choose to like be a grump for those hours in your car and pissed off and like feeling sorry for yourself, or embrace the fact that like you get to be on Earth and it's every minute is an option for you to like make it better for yourself or make it worse.
Right.
And those conditions are extreme, and I love the extremeness because it forces me to deal with my personality when things might not be going right, or like, oh, there's a sandstorm, you can no longer go across the playa to see that thing that you wanted to see. You're going to be a little grump about it for the next 5 hours and like spread negativity, or are you going to start finding a way to spread joy and embracing the moment that is thrust upon you?
Right. That's cool. And so the playa is what they call the whole area where everyone is living, the city itself, or just
The playa specifically applies to like this. Oh boy, I'm going to explain this terribly. I don't know how to explain this
it's
on
a
the radio.
circle.
It's a circle, right.
And a clock.
Right.
And inside of that clock is where the playa is and where the man is.
And so what determines where you get to sleep?
Yeah.
Different camps get placed in different parts of Black Rock City. If you're a theme camp and are putting on a lot of events, you tend to get a good corner. And it also depends how big your camp is. Like if you have 300 people in your camp, you'll get a larger plot of land and a corner to be more visible so people can find you. If you're my camp, we're in the middle where we have a barbecue for everybody to come and attend to, but it's not listed. It's like, you got to find it. There's a lot of stumble and find elements. There's Deep Playa, which is outside of the clock and behind the temple and the man.
Is that like the ghetto?
No, it's first of all, when you get there, you're like, oh my God, I'm on the moon, or what you might imagine is the moon or another planet. The sand, I've never felt sand like that before. It's so soft and powdery, and it will eat away at your skin and metal stuff if you don't.
Well, your skin
take
looks
care of
like
it.
it's glowing.
Oh, I take good care of it. I'm that principle of radical self-reliance. Yeah. I hit it hard there because you don't want to get sick or yucky out there.
Right.
Like you don't want dust hurting yourself.
Back to the camps.
Oh, yeah.
You get assigned to a camp, or how does that?
There's a couple open ones that are for newbies.
Okay.
There's Black Lives Matter has a camp out there, so you can sign up with them and start doing volunteer work with them. There's if you want to help build on the temple, you would join that camp. So there's different camps that you can join based on what your interest and volunteer ability is. Or my camp is it's not private; it's just a group of people that were like, we like to put on barbecues. And a friend of mine connected me to the camp, and I really liked the guys that ran it, so I went back this year.
You go to burningman.com and sign up, or?
Yeah, that's what I think it's eplaya.org. I'll look it up on break. And you can sign up for open camps, so Orphan Endorphin is one of them. Yeah.
Can you just go and not be in a camp?
Yeah.
And hang out?
Yeah, that's what Peggy did this year.
And just observe and just cruise.
Yeah, her and her friends got an RV. They drove in. They stayed really far back, but actually the location they were at was beautiful because they had a clear view of the mountains and saw sunrise and sunset that way, which is...
That's cool.
Yeah.
So in the camp, you have a responsibility, or you have
sometimes
some responsibilities.
Yeah, I think the biggest responsibility, which is good for me, is bring some joy and good vibes and energy and help out and clean up after yourself and bring snacks to share and drinks to share and, be a chill hang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But are some people in charge of the food, and some people are in charge of the drugs, and some people are in charge of the what have yous?
Sometimes, yeah. And then other people are just like, for me, because I have a food allergy, I take care of it all on my own.
Oh, okay.
And then I bring a bunch of snacks and drinks to share because I like sharing.
So there's no food vendors?
There's not. But let's say you roll up and like all your food just fell out of your car on the way to Black Rock City, first pause and pick that shit up because nobody's your maid.
Right.
And two, like, you'll be fine. People are handing out and cooking food every hour of the day. There's like bacon and margaritas, bacon and whiskey. There's a lot of bacon there.
A lot of bacon.
A lot of bacon there.
So it's not like
and
a
ton
vegan.
there's a ton of vegan spots
Yeah.
too, and
Okay.
and more this year than I remember last year. But it might have also just been what I stumbled upon, or what
Sure.
I was manifesting, or what I was
Right.
seeking out.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
So what's the demographic like of the people who go there? All over the map?
all over the map. I saw a 1-year-old baby to like a person that I was like, "You're definitely father time." Like you,
Wow.
like you've beat and cheated death for a couple millennia. You know.
So there are kids.
They're kids. And there's kids stuff there too, and kids camps and like places for families.
Wow.
A little boy that saw me walking back naked one morning to my camp was like, "Mommy, there's a naked lady." And she goes, "Yes, that's true. There's a lot of naked people here, and that's okay." And he goes, "Yeah, that's okay."
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
How old
Yeah.
was the kid?
5, 6.
And you were walking back naked.
I did it. I always wanted to do it. I
So-
did it for 2 days. It felt amazing.
Completely naked for
Just
2 days.
naked.
Yeah, there were a couple times where I was like, that sun's on my shoulder. So I'd like put something on my shoulders, but nothing else on. And then once it got dark, you know, because it's a desert, it's chilly.
Yeah.
So I put on clothes there.
Right.
There were 2 days I walked around with just pasties. My first minute walking around naked, I went to the bathrooms, the porta potties, post-coital after a year of celibacy. And I was,
1 year.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And then you had sex on the playa?
I did.
To
In a
break the
dome. In a dome,
Was the
y'all.
previous time also at the playa?
Yes. Yes.
And was this
then-
an intentional abstinence?
Yes.
Was it based on, why? 'Cause-
I will say the Me Too movement hit me pretty hard and had me like really examine negative experiences I'd had instead of like pushing it down, being like, try not to remember that or think of that. You know, it was great because it's a purge and it's unblocking parts of you that were traumatized that
the Me Too movement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of negative experiences with guys before last year's Burning Man and one during that, you know,
Right.
none of these guys are bad dudes. It's just like wrong intentions maybe, or like not the right way to go about things.
Mm-hmm.
And it was upsetting and hard because one of the people was my friend and we couldn't really be friends anymore
Mm-hmm.
after that because I was, too traumatized to
So you went into
handle
the playa and you
Yeah.
felt freed from that feeling.
Yeah, well, I told myself when I left, like, let's give ourselves a year off of dating guys, like, and it, because the Me Too movement happened, like, right when I returned from Burning Man, it wasn't that hard, but you definitely miss, like, being sensual and sexual and
course.
being held and touching and kissing, like, all those things that felt like part of me were gone, and I could feel myself getting, like, a little prickly and also missing it. But to the point where I'm like, I don't even know how to get back in there because, like, Tinder's not for me. I'm good socially, but, like, even following up with a thing on Tinder, it's, like, too much work on the phone, and
Yeah.
I'm constantly trying to, like,
Get away
rid
from
of-
the phone.
Yeah, I don't want it on me.
And people don't really seem to meet the old-fashioned way anymore.
Right.
It's like because everyone else is all glued to their phone, so they're not even open to the moment in real life.
Yes, yes.
And you see that a lot. Like people, like, I mean, you're even waiting for an elevator, and it's like, nope, the phone's out.
Yeah, I was at a Tom Petty concert, his last show, what would be his last show, Hollywood Bowl, last September, and there was a guy next to me swiping on Tinder the entire time of his show. And I was like, first of all, I don't even know how your brain can, like, tune out that beautiful music
It was during the music.
during the show.
Wow.
Insane. And also, like, how is your thumb still attached with all that quick swipe for hours?
I bet people are gonna start having like
It's a neuroses.
Definitely. Carpal thumb.
syndrome.
Yeah. And to speak to that, like, I met someone, there's a thing called Costco dating camp at Burning Man where you go and they assign you, like, your soulmate. But basically it's a way for you to meet people outside your friendship circle, maybe outside the workshops. There's workshops all day long, 24 hours a day. And
Right,
events. Talks, experiences. I did like a tantric speed dating workshop for 2 hours.
Okay,
Yeah, I can get into what that entailed. It was awesome.
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, hey, I'm going to cut you off right there. We're
Yeah.
going to get into all that
Okay.
and more right after this break. conscience wherever it goes. Follow it high and follow it low. Follow it brightness and follow it dark. Follow it dirty and follow it sparkling. Follow your conscience wherever it goes. Sometimes you'll outpace your words. You'll be speechless in company. You'll see open mouths waiting for the nourishment. You'll hear their cries. Turn from them. Be content to follow the scent and stay silent. Let the words come later. Let the words come later. Vocabularies don't exist to describe the undiscovered. You are not possessed with the words to tell it. It is not to be told. So follow your conscience wherever it goes. Follow it high. Follow it low. And we're back.
Woo!
Caveman Poet Society. We're talking to Ruby Marez
Yay.
about all things Burning Man and the patriarchy.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you the naked moment.
Yeah.
So minute 1 where I was naked
Yeah.
and I was walking post-coital where I was like, woo, I did it. And it also was somebody that I, cared about, and it was very connected. It was like a soul connection, which that was an intention of mine too. Like, let's not just hook up anymore. I'm too old. I'm not interested. I want like a beautiful soulful spiritual connection.
Yeah.
Found it at the Costco dating place.
Costco?
Yeah.
Costco
Sponsored
put
by
it on?
Costco?
It's not sponsored. I think they just put it because it would caught people's attention. Like, why is there
That's
some
so
brand
strange.
out here?
Costco.
It's weird.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
He was not the person that got assigned to me as my soulmate, and I was not his. It was so weird. I was filling out the form. They have you fill out like a form about yourself at the dating place.
And then they match you, huh?
And then they match you.
That same day, or do they like take it some
The
time?
next day you come back and you get your matches. And one person comes to find you, and you go to find another person. It's like a human centipede dating
Except
setup.
without sucking the poop out of their
That's
butt.
right. Unless that's something you're into, which like,
Probably was happening there in one of the tents.
absolutely.
The human centipede tent. Come on, you guys!
Yeah, there's no
Really?
judgment there. Anything, and the thing is, like, great, those people should be hanging out together
Right.
and
Sure.
doing that,
Sure.
But he entered the space, and I thought I met him the day before, but I think now what happened, my body just like sonar was like, do, this person, because it was literally like the male version of me, which I've always wanted to hook up with and date and like experience. And I was like, yes, this person's awesome. And one of the things he said to me, he goes, I like fun and I like energy. And I was like, bro, me too. That's all I'm trying to do and be with. And I've never dated somebody who's been like as positive or like unicorn-like as me. And he's definitely a unicorn. He even has a thermos that says, yes, I'm really a unicorn. And it's pink and with sparkles. And he had like nail polish on with sparkles. But is also very, what's the right word?
A man.
A man. Very mwah, to the moil that did the cut on him, because good work.
good.
The yin and the yang.
The yin and the yang.
Well, I think that's a good point. Diving into this down with the patriarchy
Yeah.
feeling that we're very much about here.
Yeah.
But I think that, men are in this crisis right now
Yeah.
because most men don't know that you can be manly and masculine and the hunter warrior and also be sensitive and kind and loving and for joy. So I think that's cool that you found a guy there
Yeah.
that really exemplified that.
I mean, I found multiple men. This
Oh,
is
I'm
a
sure
very
there's tons of
healing
guys there, yeah, in
experience because there were so many, and I'd had such a bad 2 years before that of like douchebaggery,
Right.
that- and being a sensitive man, that just means like you're connected to yourself and your
Yeah.
senses, and you're emotionally aware
Yeah.
and self-regulating those emotions. Like that's what adults are supposed to do. That's radical self-reliance, is
Sure.
knowing what your needs are, your boundaries, stating them. And when you're being triggered, like don't stuff it down, like bring it out. And I want to experience that with men too. I heard a couple of my friendly unicorns' current struggles, and I felt so good giving what I could to help ease that. I think everyone wants to help each other heal.
The men's struggles
Yeah.
that they're having in this society.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What, dating and trying to assert their own
That
manhood?
it's like I did not know until a friend told me that how often men are told at a very young age, like, one, don't have that emotion unless it's a tough, aggressive, manly emotion, and two, like, they don't even get to label it or know it from themselves because it's immediately cut off at a young age. Other than anger, it's like one that's like, yeah, you can have that emotion. And for women, it's the opposite. We get to, I think for the most part, express and experience every emotion. You'll be penalized later for it in the boardroom where they're like, Linda's being emotional and must have her period. But like, but anger is not one that women are really allowed to like embrace and hold. And this experience at Burning Man, I kind of addressed those two things. I had some intentions when I went in of what I wanted to work on and find for myself, and talking to guys about their experience, about being cut off in that way. Because I don't want that for guys. I don't want that for any human. Yeah. I want everyone to be...
It's a hard life.
It's hard.
To cut yourself off from all that.
Well, and it's been happening to both men and women because the men are cut off from one aspect of emotion and the women are cut off from the other aspect of emotion. They have to be this way, the men have to be that way, and we're worlds apart.
Yeah.
And so the Me Too movement is not just about maybe men like wising up, but also women getting in touch with that other side of them.
For sure.
That's more assertive.
Asserting themselves.
And that can be more forceful or masculine.
Right.
One of the things we talk about on this show, and we've had some guests to talk about the divine feminine is going to save the world, but the divine feminine can come through a man.
Yes, it can.
It's not just a woman.
That's right.
So.
And it's really, I mean, that I took a class on masculinity, the divine feminine, divine masculine.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
nice.
day 2.
Sweet.
At Burning Man.
Tell us about it.
Yeah.
So that was after I found out what my spirit animal was, which was a horse.
Nice.
Which is basically a unicorn missing its horn.
Right.
And in the class, basically, the shaman broke down the energies, right? Between masculine and feminine energies. It's not about gender. It's about like, feminine is nurturing and attentive and very sensitive because you're trying to attune to the needs, right? And masculine is more grounded and kind of sturdiness and directness. Like, I think about it in terms of crystals because now my friend and I have a crystal and cannabis meditation company that we do. So I think of it as like hematite. The grounding stone is like the masculine energy, and the feminine is, I guess I would say, rose quartz.
Are some strains of cannabis linked with different?
Yes.
Gemstones?
Yeah. At our event, the Sky High Vibes events, you come in. There's 4 crystals that you can pick one of 4, and each crystal is aligned with a different strain of cannabis to help open up the.
This is at your events or at Burning Man?
At my events. Yeah,
Cool.
We're gonna try and bring it to Burning Man next year. We did a couple. My partner Brooke is the crystal witch, for lack of a better word.
Love it.
And she did some crystal experiments with people in the playa, and they really enjoyed it.
I'm sure. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So, so naked times. So I leave the dome where I had sex, right? I'm going.
Yeah. So you guys had sex in the Costco dome thing?
No, in a different dome that.
But it's like the sex dome, like.
No, it was just like a dome that something was in, and they were, I guess, moving out, but it was up for the 4 hours.
So you guys were like, let's go in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was a round inflatable bed. It was perfect because I love round beds. And every step of it, speaking of the Me Too movement, was like, I don't like to be touched without being asked because, like, I'm not into it, and people can take advantage of it. So, like, just ask, and then I'll let you know, like, if I'm up for it or if I'm not. Every step, like, can I kiss you? Can I touch your nipple? Can I touch your vagina? Like, yes. And when he asked, it was just like.
So the progression, so each progression needs a question.
Yeah.
Needs consent.
Especially the first go at it. Like, don't just assume I'm available for all of it. Ask me. And then, he was asking, like, do you like to be touched this way? Harder, softer? Like, it's intimate because it requires you to have communication. It's not just like one person being like, well, this is what I always do. Like, people are different. Body shapes are different. Sensitivities are different on each person's body. So, like, let's investigate and inquire and make sure the person feels, really cared for. Because that's a turn on for sure. And, like, once I feel cared for, like, I'll go hog wild. But, like, let's ease up and, like, really
make sure we're up for it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of men who lack that ability to stop and put into words what they'd like to do.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. So we were taught as men that that's not really how you do it.
Right.
You kind of just, feel it out and make your move.
Yeah.
Make your move. Go in for the kiss.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The whole.
Oh, gross. Yeah.
So wait. So
the stretching.
yeah, the stretch, and then the arm around.
Yeah.
So okay. So what about that? Like, if someone wanted to put their arm around you, would you want them to ask?
I would. But I'm very much, because I've had some traumatizing sexual experiences. Like, I need that just
Right.
to even be turned on at this point. I need to be asked.
Right.
Not every girl needs that. I think let's just err on the side of making sure it's okay, because we certainly don't want to be re-traumatizing people or making them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A couple of my guy friends, and even my brother for a while, were like, it's just awkward to have to ask or have that conversation. And my response was like, well, then you shouldn't be having sex. If you're too much of if it's too awkward to ask someone, can I touch this part of you? Like, you're not really being responsible. Because it's not just your body, it's another person's body. And we would lose our shit if somebody touched your phone without your permission or your car. You'd be like, don't fucking touch my shit without asking me.
Right.
Same for another person's body. And it is, it's for me, it doesn't feel awkward to hear it. It feels like, oh, thank God that I don't have to school this person on consent right now.
Right.
Because I'm willing to believe that most people are not trying to hurt other people, that
No.
it is poorly learned. We're not taught this.
No, this is all happening now.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a fine line, though, right?
Yeah, you can also feel vibes. You can feel like this person's not into me.
But saying that, though, I have a few thoughts on this. Do you feel like in this technological age that we're in, people are losing that
Yeah.
That feel.
Yeah.
intuition?
Yeah.
Which I agree with. And then also, as you get comfortable with a person, say this guy became your boyfriend or whatever. I'm not,
Who needs labels?
Yeah, exactly.
Would it be something that you would eventually grow out of, and it would be more intuitive between you guys?
Yeah.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
Once he's got permission, then he's got permission. If he asks you to kiss you today, you accept, and then you guys end up having sex. Tomorrow, must he ask to kiss?
I mean, I'm assuming that if we're still engaging in it, right? I think if a new sexual act was brought to the table, you know, bring it up. But if you kept asking Ari every day, can I kiss you? I'd be like, why are you being so weird about it, Nate?
Right, exactly.
She's living with you, said yes to be your wife. I'm sure she's down. I don't know totally the answer for that. Again, I think it's up to each individual if they always need to be asked. I definitely do in the beginning.
Yeah.
And if anything new comes up, I want to be asked. And checked with, was that too hard? Was that good for you?
Sure.
And even post-coital, what was your experience? Was that,
Yeah.
And I do it too. I asked, are you okay with me touching your nipples? Because the last guy I was with was not into it. And I didn't realize it until I was, going for it. And he was like, I don't like that. And I felt terrible.
Yeah.
Because I was
at least he told you, and then
Yeah.
and then it's on to the next one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of confusion in people's sex lives. They'll do things and they don't know if it works or not.
Yeah.
And a lot of men don't know whether or not they actually pleased the woman, and a lot of women feel like they got to make the dude feel like he is doing a good job when he might not be.
Yeah.
And so what you're talking about is really getting it all on the table.
Yeah.
And so that we can communicate about what's working and what isn't.
Yeah, because we want to be uninhibited, sexually exploring beings, right? That's why we have all these senses. And really the only way to do that is to communicate and to be honest. And it's the hardest thing in the world for me to express myself in that space, in that intimate moment. Oh, that was actually a little too hard, or you're kissing me too intensely, or you pulled my hair and I didn't like it, or choking. Everyone needs to ask who's into choking and who's not.
Yeah, the fine line there, for sure.
Or you shoved your tongue so far down my throat, I couldn't breathe, you know?
Right.
And ain't no shame in the game. Everybody's body is different, and you just got to explore it. And I think what's cool about it is, and it's happened so many times, when that work's being done, someone will stumble on a spot in my body that just is like all cylinders afire. Everything great is happening, you know, where I'm just like, no one's ever entered my elbow and done that. That's incredible. What did you just do? Or like, your finger went right here in the back of my head, and my body just did like a backflip into pleasure. You know, like if you're really exploring it, then those cool things get to happen for both parties, and you get to heighten your sexual experience.
And some of that was happening at Burning Man. In the plan.
A lot of it.
And it was probably
happening.
extra heightened because you were ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment.
Right.
Again, like nobody cared that I was naked. Oh, that lady.
So there's a lot of naked people?
Not that many. I thought there would be more, but no one cares when you're doing it. Mm-hmm. So I went the first time I was naked. I walked from the dome to the bathroom, and I was like feeling maybe 5% insecure. And a woman rode by on a bike, and she goes, "You have a beautiful booty." And I was like, oh, "You do too, sister." And I stretched out my arm and waved to her. And then a guy on a bike, another bike, crossed my path, and he goes, "That was the best thing I've seen all day." And I was like, look what happens when we're all like not judging and just throwing out compliments and expressing how joyful we are to be
Were you
witnessing.
barefoot?
I did do barefoot a few times. That was a deep end of the pool for me.
Yeah.
I was mostly in shoes, except for at my camp.
Is it safe to be barefoot? Is there like stuff?
For the
broken
most part,
glass or
no, not really.
nothing?
No, people will yell at you like, "You drop that, pick that up."
Oh,
Like you are not allowed to be a litter bug there, and people will call it out. Even on a speakerphone, people will get on the speakerphone and be like, "Don't know if you noticed, but you just dropped your fanny pack full of Quaker bars. Pick it up."
in the bathroom situation, there are porta potties, or
There are porta potties.
is that the main? Or do you go just take
Can
a
you
dump
dig a
in
hole?
No. You can't put even water on the ground there. It's frowned upon. You have to carry all the gray water out with you.
You can't take a piss on the ground?
It's preferred not to.
Did you ever do it? That's a
An
yes.
accident happened to me, and I didn't know where I was. And I would say I pissed my pants if I was wearing pants, but I wasn't.
What do you mean? An accident happened?
Like I woke up and was like, I have to go to the bathroom. I started walking, and it just
Came out.
and I was like, oh my God, stop.
So how much substances are part of this week? How many people? How much drugs, cannabis, other substances, alcohol, beer?
It depends, right, on each
On the
person's
camp and stuff
system. It is so stimulating there. There are so many LED lights and EDM and also places where that's not happening. But there's so much art and visual shit and people on bikes and then a person on a Segway and then like
Anybody on a bird scooter?
a couple of those arrived, not
God
specifically
damn
bird.
it.
That was
Right.
the most upsetting because it kicks up a lot of dirt. So if you're on your bike, you're like, hey, man.
Fuck
You're
those
like,
things, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
I would prefer if they made them not allowable. That said, if someone has an injury and like that's the only way you get around, I get it. There were people in wheelchairs there, like in terms of diversity, Israelis, Spanish people, people from Finland, like so many people that I was like, this is way more diverse.
Different languages going on.
Yeah, and it was cool to like be like, I wonder what they're talking about
that's
right
cool.
now. And also there's not only the people in wheelchairs. There's a bike for people in wheelchairs to get on and ramps for certain camps. So they're really what I enjoy is that they're really pushing that inclusivity each year more and more.
Awesome.
It's a pretty psychedelic environment.
It's pretty psychedelic.
Shrooms
yeah.
and acid.
Yeah, a lot of shrooms and acid are happening.
What did you do?
If
you feel comfortable sharing.
it is federal land, so I admit to nothing.
Okay.
It was very hard. It's very hard for me to be too high there, or to like want to consume too much because one, you'll miss it and you won't remember, and it's just it's a disorienting place to be. First of all,
Right.
You don't want to be out of your mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like that person that has to get taken to the, the medical tent. You don't
The
want
safe
that.
tent.
Yeah,
I've heard about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're there, and they really do help people.
Right.
They're not going to report you.
Yeah.
But like, try not to. So I can't smoke until dusk in LA and there because the heat and weed I just pass out. And
Really?
the same with drinking. Yeah, like I can have margaritas during the day. So I did shrooms. I did shrooms during the day because that always goes well for me. I usually save acid for night. I did some Molly at night, but I just did like 90 milligrams, which is not even a full dose. Yeah.
Yeah, or a half.
Yeah.
Just to make those LED lights pop a little more.
Oh, yeah. And to also, for me, all those drugs really strip away all my bullshit. And I get to, like, connect not only to the childlike version of me, but to the most honest, not reacting from, like, past bullshit Ruby version. Right. And I feel like I definitely feel at home there because there's no judgment. And then you realize, like, oh, the only person that's actually judging myself is me. And I'm the one creating stories and narratives. I'm the one that's falsifying what's actually happening. And that space really allows you to be like such a radically express yourself in whatever the fuck way you want to express yourself. Nobody cares. You know, as long as you're not harming somebody, do it up, bro. Like, whatever. Yeah, I wore a nurse costume most of the time. I don't know why. It's just like my thing there when I'm not being naked. And I never knew that about myself. And I was like, wow, I'm really like wearing that dress. There's a zipper up front. It's white, so it blocks off the heat. And at night, I wear like the space skirt and the spacey top. And I don't like clothes ever. I've never been into them. Ari and company, all those girls usually dress me because I refuse to go shopping. Because I feel like, oh, this is a waste of my money and I hate it. Yeah. And I just want to like go to save my money for Burning Man, so fuck it. Right. So I'm everyone's like first stop before the Salvation Army, which is great for me. But I realize this burn like, oh, it's because like I just want to be naked. And I like, it's a mini rebellion always raging inside of me when like I have to wear clothes. You know, if it's like hot or cold, you want some protection. But this is a beautiful temperatured space. And like, I'd like to be tits out and junk out more often than not.
Damn right.
It's too much. It's too expensive too.
Yeah.
Bras. Ugh.
So there were probably 0 bras on the playa.
I didn't see many.
Yeah.
There were bralettes. A lot of bralettes.
What's that?
Oh, it's like a cotton one that just like there's no wire in it. It's for maybe women that are like size B and below where they don't need to have them hoisted up. Although I saw plenty of large breasts that didn't need to be hoisted up the entire week there. So, it's just like a little cotton thing, you know.
Well, we're going to take another quick break, and I'm going to change my bralette because it's sweating in here. We'll be right back.
There is no try, only do or do not. Trying is not an action, but rather the act of thinking about doing something. Things are accomplished by doing them, not by trying. No one tries to accomplish anything. You work towards success. The work is broken down into actions that stack up on one another until a goal is achieved. I made it to the NFL stacking one day at a time of pure intentional focus on achieving that dream. Lifting and sprinting one day a week would not have gotten the job done. But because I made the choice every day, one day at a time, over and over again, to do what was necessary for tomorrow, I built that momentum. I stoked the fire, and I manifested that dream. And we're back with Ruby Marez. We're going to hop into some of the logistics around Burning Man. How much does it cost? You know, what's fuel? What's water like? I know there's no money changing hands while you're in there.
Have you ever had a week of your life where you didn't have to exchange money for anything?
Not that I can remember.
When I was an infant.
Yeah. It is so freeing. And to not see like advertising thrust in front of your face, you know, because you see it all the time on your phone and like when you're driving, it is.
I'm writing a rant about it.
Great, write about it. It's too much.
Yeah.
And the message, we need like messages. On a bus there, when I was walking by naked, it said, the world wants to hug you more than it wants to harm you. And I just started crying. And I was like, that is a great message. We should start putting that on all buses.
For sure.
Yeah,
Need that.
Who makes money on that message?
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So how much is the ticket?
It varies. I had a low-income ticket because I quit my job and then started my own companies and wasn't really bringing in revenue. So, you have to submit like your tax forms from 2 years and answer like 4 questions and show your bank account. And then if there's enough, there's low-income tickets for $190. And then a car pass for your vehicle is $80. Other tickets that are bought during the regular sale and the OMG sale are $450, if I'm right about that.
Per person.
Per person.
That just gets you in. That doesn't give you the plot of land that's your...
Oh, yeah.
That gives you your
It
camp.
gives you a plot.
Yeah, a space to camp.
Right.
For
Okay.
sure.
Got it.
And then the vehicle pass. And then there's other tickets that happen very early in the year that one of my friends who is well off purchases because she's like, I don't want to have to worry about it. Because most people are trying to get the $450 tickets and there's a limited amount. And many times within minutes of the sale happening, they're completely gone.
And are those closer to the playa?
No,
or
it's just like you bought early and you got a space. And those ones I think are $1,000. But it runs the whole gamut between like $1,000 and $190. A lot of people, specifically somebody like me who like I could not afford that $450 ticket this year. No way. Was able to afford and go. And I think the $1,000 people are kind of offsetting those costs for
Right.
the low income ticket people.
And how else do they make money? They must make money on more than just the tickets, right? I wonder.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I know that in 2014 they became a nonprofit.
That's
Before
right.
That's
that,
what
they
I was
were
gonna
a
say.
For-profit. So now they're a nonprofit.
So they probably take in donations.
right, and they don't have to open their books, right? As a nonprofit, isn't that how it works?
I don't know if that's true. I do think, based on a Wikipedia search 6 months ago, I think it was something like the revenue that it brings in is like, maybe it's like 76 million or 80 million, but after everything's paid off, there's only
Right.
like 2 million that's been made. So
Right.
there's not a lot of, it's not like Outside Lands, which is,
Or Coachella.
or Coachella. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a running joke there. They're like, Coachella was better last year.
Right.
Well,
Doesn't everybody say that about everything? Like,
Yeah.
was Burning Man better this year for you or last year?
each year was perfect and exactly what I needed. And, because there's workshops and classes and not vendors, but like camps and villages, it really is a choose your own adventure. And it's a video game like no other life experience I've had where it's like, your friend Margaret's at 8:30 a.m. Go find her. She's not there. Go find a pen and paper to like leave her a note. Now hop on this dragon car and go on an adventure.
Phones don't work there.
For the most part, no. Mine had some service. And there's an app now, which I did actually like. There's a book they give you when you enter that tells you all the events that are happening. And now there's 2 apps, which I liked because I have massive ADD and a massive FOMO can happen there. Although this year at camp, we learned about Joymo, which is like, you didn't have FOMO, you had Joymo. You picked the thing that would be most joyful to you in that moment.
Joymo.
Everything else is out of,
Right.
not what you wanted the mostest.
Yeah.
And so the apps, would save it to your calendar. And then on my phone, I'd get a reminder like, you wanted to go to that shaman dome and find out your spirit animal at 11 a.m. So, it'll take you this long to get there based on where you're located.
That's cool.
For me, that saved me. And I was like on time and early to a bunch of the workshops.
So you were on a bicycle?
I was on a bicycle, yeah.
And how was that riding the bicycle naked?
Oh, okay.
You took
First-
off the seat.
Took off, went
Jesus
full hog.
Christ.
It was like the first 2 minutes, and I was like, I do not want to do this
Yeah,
naked.
that can't-
I want
Yeah.
something there. I tended to walk with my bike when I was like naked, or I'd
Right.
put down like a little cover
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
And so to get from one end of the camp or from one end of the playa to the other or whatever on a bike, how long does that take?
If you're good at biking and, in a good state of mind, 20 minutes. Sometimes 30. It depends. Like
So
when
it's
it's
a couple
brutally
miles.
hot, you stop, or at least I would stop to preserve my energy.
It's probably a couple miles from one end to the other. A mile or something.
Yeah,
like that.
maybe more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so they have water
So you bring in all your water that you'll need to drink
for the week.
for the week and to like wash your hands and wash your face. And you
Wow.
have to carry it out with you, any water that got dirty. For gas, so our camp had a generator and we needed gasoline. There's those big blue barrels of gasoline that they brought to our camp, and then it would get filled into the small red, gasoline.
And you're not
filling
paying
things.
for it. They're just bringing it and filling it up.
No gas you do have to pay for.
So that's the one thing you're actually exchanging money for.
Yeah, and ice and coffee in center camp. Other camps have
Coffee,
for
huh?
free.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Coffee, hot commodity.
Yeah, right?
Coffee and ice. It's
Yeah.
yeah. And it makes sense because like Burning Man's purchasing it
Right.
for you, but like you said, like it cannot afford to pay for it for everybody. And I'm pretty sure those proceeds just go to offset it. They're not like
Sure.
really making money from it,
Yeah.
you know. And people volunteer to work at those camps too.
So how much water did you bring? Did you bring those big
Those
arrowhead things?
I brought 6,
6.
and I came back with 3.
Oh, cool.
And a part of me was like, oh, I don't know how I got so hydrated. I also had 24 LaCroix, Spindrift, homemade Gatorade,
Nice.
the lime cucumber Gatorade because it's the only flavor I like.
Homemade Gatorade?
Love
Yeah.
that.
What do you mean?
Just a little bit of sugar, salt,
Yeah.
water.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that people gift you there?
Oh boy, I got such cool things this year. Okay, my Sparkle Unicorn, he went up to an art car, which is just like a vehicle that's been turned into like whatever kid's fantasy. So like one's like a skull art car. It's so hard to explain all the imagery on it, but in that art car there were little doors that had padlocks on it, and you had to figure out the code to undo the padlock, and inside would be a gift. And most people got like chapstick, which is great out there, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's
that's
a good
really
one.
what you need.
Yeah.
And he got the one version of this thing that was on it, which was an old-fashioned, those clocks that you would wear around your neck, watches.
Yeah. Like Flavor Flav used to wear?
Much smaller.
A little pocket watch?
A little pocket watch, yeah.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland style.
Okay.
And the woman that was the artist had drawn like a mandala right, on the outside of it, and it was, not gold, but looked like gold, and you open it up, and then there was the watch, and it was beautiful, and I was like, that's an awesome gift. I got, from my friend Flo, she took salt rock and put it into a necklace so that you could lick the salt rock because it's very hot and sweaty, and as you guys are athletes know, you need to replenish your salt so that you don't start having muscles that cramp up. So she put it onto a necklace with a really pretty bead, and people kept asking me like, oh, what crystal is that? And I was like, salt. And
I love
I've been
that.
licking it all day.
Pink?
Pink.
Nice.
Yeah. I got
Bacon, right? You said a lot of bacon.
a lot of bacon. And I had like 6 days worth of bacon with me. Next year I'm going to up it to 12 or 14.
Days of bacon?
Yeah, I like made my bacon ahead of time, wrapped it up into individual
You
days.
cooked it ahead of time?
Yes,
Okay.
And this same I did momofuku hard-boiled eggs. So that's a hot tip for everyone out there. Take hard-boiled eggs. There's a momofuku recipe for a sauce that you put on it, and the eggs last like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the thing with bacon? Is it
I
just
think because it's
handheld
salty,
and
it's handheld, it's crunchy.
It's got some good fat.
Yeah, good
protein.
fat, protein. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It and nuts are great out there, but
Yeah.
obviously get like the disshelled pistachios. Otherwise, you're taking out a bunch of shells with you.
Yeah.
You have to take all your trash with you.
Yeah.
And camps do get graded based on their moop. So me and my friend Brooke were the last 2 there, and we did big moop sweeps through the sand to make sure we weren't leaving
Tell us
anything
again
behind.
what moop is.
Matter out of place.
Okay.
So if it's not the desert sand, it's matter out of place. Even things like pebbles and straws from like people's straw hats, you have to pick all of it up.
Did you ever come across any poop moop?
I did not. I will say this. I was very upset at how some people left the porta potties, especially the ladies that left their plastic tampon applicators in there, because you can't do that. You cannot put your tampons in the porta potty, and you can't leave the plastic applicators.
But you can wipe, right, with toilet paper?
You can wipe with one-ply toilet paper that they have.
But you have to eat it afterwards.
That's right. Radical self-reliance.
Right. No,
But you
just
carry it out with you.
Oh, you carry it out.
Yeah, like-
you don't put it down there with the poop.
The one-ply toilet paper. If you had wipes, which sometimes I needed
Right.
wipes for
Right,
a
right.
poop day,
Poop
you
day.
put it in a Ziploc, and then I put it in like a doggy bag so no one can see like what's in your, like what are you carrying out? Like just
How
my
bad was
wipes.
the poop?
Every day is a poop day for me, by the way.
Me too. I'm on a schedule.
Oh, definitely.
Good.
Yeah.
Gotta
and,
poop.
And you can I mean whatever. Just like take your shit with you, because when you see it, because people do stay around to clean up, like that's not okay to leave your bloody tampon applicators, ladies. Like I'm not down with that. I'm down with patriarchy, and I'm down with that, or not down.
That's right.
Yeah.
I went camping with a buddy of mine in the Sawtooth Mountains in Idaho one time, and it was, they were really gnarly outdoorsmen, and we parked and we hiked for 8 hours to this camp with a pack on, no trails, nothing. It was in the middle of nowhere, and they were really insistent on leaving absolutely
Yes.
nothing behind. Your toilet paper, you got to bring it with you.
Yeah.
And so, but it was like 5 a.m. one time. I'm in my tent. It was really freezing. I had to take a shit, right? And so I ran out, and I was like, fuck, I gotta do this. And I was just squatting. It was like almost sort of snowing. It was really cold. And I pooped real quick, and I wiped, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? And I buried it right there.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I was walking by that area, and some animal had dug it up. And there was toilet paper all over the place. I'm like, that's fucking mine.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't do that. And when you
That's
try
right.
to beat the system,
Wow.
you end up getting exposed by
Yeah.
some, hungry
Hungry
bear
badger.
or whatever the fuck it was.
I
Yeah.
don't want fucking toilet paper. That's what he would say when he walked away.
Exactly.
This doesn't digest well.
Wow.
Well, you mentioned something out there that we only have a little bit of time left, but I want to get into
Yeah.
it. You said that you had a gay orgy.
A queer orgy.
Yeah.
Wow!
Describe that to us. How did
Okay.
that
Weird
happen?
orgy.
Yeah.
So first of all, I will always say, since I was a kid, I was like, I know I'm not like totally straight, but like, right? It seems like it gets divided up very early. Like you like boys or girls, and if like it's your same gender, like you're wrong. You're like, I don't know, okay. You just kind of can fall into one. But I always knew like I think there's more out there for me. I just don't know how to get to it. But I've for several years fantasized about like what would it be like to have like 2 guys or 3 guys or like a couple girls and me and a guy. Like what would that feel like? Or especially if all these people I'm probably not dating or in a deep relationship with, could I just break that barrier of needing what is my therapist is called codependent relationships? And then sex gets all wonky because it's all about like the baggage and like my partner, isn't going to my show later and I'm a little bit bitter. So like, I'm not really going to be hooking up with him in a loving way, like
Right.
resentments and all that junk that gets in there. And I experience the like totally healing, completely uninhibited, primal, all senses aglow, consent every step of the way, queer orgy that like I didn't even know it was happening. And when it was happening, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to label this later, until my unicorn was like telling my friends during the actual man burn. We were on our island art car and watching the man burn. He's like, Ruby had a queer orgy today. Everyone applaud her. And I was like, yay. And he was with me. So basically what happened was we were at a bar and we were listening to some people play Grateful Dead music, of course. And
Are there a lot of live music there?
Oh, yeah. The California Honey Drops, which is them and LCD Sound System, are my favorite bands. I love California Honey Drops. They played for 3 hours one night at Camp Proverbia on Esplanade and 315, and it was awesome. And I got to be on the side of the stage, which like, when am I ever on the side of a stage during like a big band show? Never. And I was like talking to the
And you were
musicians.
naked.
Oh, that time I was clothed. It was windy that night. There was some dust storms. And the guitarist who I have like a little bit of a crush on came and like put tequila in my, like was giving tequila to everyone in the audience. I was like, oh, over here, sir. And then I was like, we're establishing eye contact. This is amazing. So yeah, there's live music, but it's not like a music fest. It's not like Outside Lands where that's what's happening. So we were listening to Grateful Dead at the bar, and we were just talking to these 2 guys, and somehow we talked about they went to a spanking camp that week, a workshop on like how to spank and what the rules are, because it's not
That's so
the like
funny.
way we think about it. First of all, hand on hand, like that's next level shit because your hand's really hard, but like a flogger is very soft and it's strands of like leather, right? Those shredded leather. And for the ladies, because it has that wraparound effect when you spank them, there's stimulation.
Curl around and hit some fun spots.
Yeah, a lot of fun spots.
Nice.
And there was different things at the spanking camp. One was like a plastic automated spanker, but that I didn't like. It was plastic, and like I was like, that's not a human doing that to me. I don't like that. Then they had a nozzle that sprayed out air on your clit, and I was like, that's a nice invention. I enjoyed that one. There's like walls where like people can be tied up or chained, but like also all this is out in the open, so it doesn't feel like creepy dungeon
Scary.
times. Yeah. So these 2 gay guys, I was telling them about like I kind of had like a weird little traumatic sexual experience with spanking last year, and I haven't entered it again. And as a kid, I was spanked and like always in trouble because I mouthed off a lot. So I was frequently getting spanked. So I just had a negative association and could feel like, I don't want this anymore. How do I have a positive experience of it? So they were like, we'll take you to spanking camp. We'll tell Unicorn how to, all the steps on how to start spanking. And like you start out very, very gentle and slowly work your way up. And you're checking like, how did that feel? would you like harder or softer? So it's all consent, all, ramping up. I did it. And then one of the queer gentlemen started playing with me while my other partner was spanking, flogging me.
And the other partner was a woman or a man?
A man.
Oh, so this was a queer orgy with men?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
3 guys and Ruby. That's some good math. I'm into it.
When you say queer orgy, I thought you meant you and some women.
Oh, I guess this was a gay male couple.
Got it.
And then my unicorn.
Got it.
Like he's a real, like a sexual unicorn, so he can go both ways.
Oh, wow.
And then I discovered, like, not only my unicorn and my personhood and being, like, sexually I am, but also labels schmabels. Like, it just really felt like 3 or 4 humans connecting and wanting, like, 3 guys wanting to help me have a sex positive experience around something that felt so frightening historically and, like, entrenched in negative memories. And now it's like a beautiful new space for me to explore. Huh. And the other guy who had some feathers with him from a turkey that he killed because he lived in Montana with his gay male partner, took out the feather from his hat and started just tickling, arousing my nipple. And I was like, yeah.
Wow.
All cylinders on fire.
Breaking down stereotypes.
Yeah.
The gay dude from Montana who kills turkeys.
Yeah.
We got to get him on the pod.
Oh, yeah. They were so great. And, it would be like, these 2 guys normally I wouldn't say I would be attracted to because they were a little bit older. They were huge, like 6'3", 6'4", like really burly men where I'd be like, that person would squash me. And they were so gentle and attentive and sweet and nurturing and like really connected. And I was like, oh, it's not about size of any body shape. It's not about gender for me. It really is a soul-to-soul connection and all that other stuff, what we call the default world, this world, kind of junks it up. And like, I have theories about it, about why that happens. It's mostly for consumerism and capitalism to be the top dog.
Right.
And in that experience, I was also like, this is love. This is pure love. Just being given. I feel like a goddess whose nectar is being like sucked on by the gods and enjoyed. And like, everyone's enjoying this together. And there's no like strings attached or like, tomorrow I hope you do this to me. It was just like for the present moment. Giving.
Beautiful.
Well, we hope that you're able to translate that to the real world, and I guess that's the whole goal, right? To be able to kind of to move it into the everyday practice.
Yeah, cut through the bullshit.
When did you get back?
Yesterday, or Monday at like 2 a.m.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now I'm in the cleaning stages. Logistics-wise, so there's a lot of pre-planning that goes into this with your stuff because you can only bring a limited amount of stuff, your tent, et cetera, or RV. And then the cleanup because you have to clean all the dust off your clothes, off any products that you brought. It's white vinegar and water.
So the limited amount of stuff, what are you limited to?
Just what you can bring in and bring out, essentially.
Okay.
So
whatever can fit in your car?
Yeah.
But is your car packed full of stuff?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There was stuff on me entering and exiting.
And what do you have? You've got your water. You've got your tent.
Camelback.
Okay. You've got some gear.
Yes, sleeping bag.
You've got some clothing. You got a little bit of food.
A lot of food.
It
depends how many days you're there. I was there for a week, so.
Okay. What else do you have? Gifts?
Gifts, yeah.
Things that you want to bring
lights,
to the party?
Because you have to light yourself up at night because it's dark.
Okay.
And lights for your bike. You're bringing your bike unless you rent a bike there, which is always an option.
Does that cost money?
Yeah, that's about $70 to rent a bike.
You pay beforehand? Okay. So you're bringing essentials?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, like, your few favorite things. So I brought, like, feather markers because I like writing with that.
Okay.
In the desert as opposed to, like, ballpoint pen.
Right.
You know?
It's more fun.
Yeah, that one's more fun. But you're really also, like, a lot of my clothes I didn't get into or I just didn't feel like wearing. Because I was like, I'm going for naked. And I also asked my camp, like, I was like, new rule, Ruby's going to be naked in camp unless someone here is uncomfortable with that, I'll put on clothing. So, I didn't get to a lot of my clothes this year. My shoes, there's a bunch of shoes you should bring because you want your feet to be as cared for as possible. Yeah. And then your toiletries, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. I brushed my teeth morning and night. I flossed every day. I washed my face twice a day. I lathered on that SPF, bring a lot of SPF, as many lip balms. And you bring baby wipes galore because you wipe the sand off you every night. And then you want to lather up with coconut oil to replenish your skin because that dust is quite drying.
You get super dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the cleanup. You're in the cleanup phase now?
Cleanup phase, yeah.
What does that entail?
A lot of washing, a lot of laundry.
Okay.
I have a bunch of buckets with white vinegar, distilled white vinegar and water to get the alkaline and the dust off. And Dr. Bronner's soap is also good at that. So laundry, wiping things down, your gear, making sure there's nothing on that. There's some that's on my battery pack, my phone charger, an extended charger that looks like it's getting eaten away at by the minute. So you just wipe everything down. It takes a while. The car one's big. There's actually, in San Francisco and LA, there's various car wash places which make bank the week that people come back from Burning Man.
Yeah.
We took our SUV there yesterday. It was $250.
Oh, my God.
Whoa.
But there was so much dirt in that car.
Wow.
So much. And worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah,
like,
you
it's,
made it
Sure.
back.
Yeah.
Look at you.
And
Yeah.
you can have like 10 years of therapy in 1 week.
Yeah.
That's mostly what I want to stress. Some people are going for the party, right?
Right.
Some people are going to do drugs and be out of their mind. That's their path. Other people are going for like healing or sexual healing or spiritual healing or like, I hadn't really been around men for a year, other than like the kids I nannied, my brothers, you, and I could feel like I'm interacting in an awkward way with them, and I'd like to confront that. Another guy had a camp where he washed people's feet because the fly dust gets on it, and he has OCD about people's feet, and he was like, I'm going to confront it real hard for 1 week
Wow.
and offer this gift to people that are going to love it, and I can tear this down because it is just a construct,
Yeah.
you know?
Sure.
So, like, it's a way to free yourself up quickly and hard, and things can happen very fast. That queer orgy was not even on my mind. It just, in an hour and a half, developed. And you're choosing it, right? You're choosing to talk to new people, to be social or not social. Like, it is a pick your own path experience to the highest level that I've ever known on this planet.
Sounds like you had
Amazing.
an awesome time.
I did.
Thank you for joining us.
I'll see you there next year in the playa.
Yeah. Ari really wants to go.
Cool.
Yeah, she really wants to go. Before we get out of here, can you tell the people who are listening,
Yes.
if you want to plug anything or where they can find
Yes.
your work or anything like that?
Your events?
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
Oh, before I
Your
say that, I
company?
did want to say this too thing about Burning Man. It's the only time I've got to experience people on their best behavior for the most part. Like, imagine a world where everyone's so nice and gifting and cares about one another. No one has to run off to work. There's no pressure. The time is expanded and your generosity flows. And when you're experiencing humans in that level, it is beautiful. It is astounding how much your heart can open and like love expands. It doesn't contract. So then you leave the play and it is in you and on you and you see the potential in all of us. I did a gazing exercise with a woman and I was like, oh, I see the universe in her eyes. Oh, because we're all one. Oh my God, I get it now. You know, like I'm not going to scream at people in traffic. I had glasses on at one point where it like put hearts around any place where there was light. And I saw all these hearts on people and I was like, well, now I can never yell at them in traffic because everyone has this beautiful heart.
Only if you wear the glasses, though.
I remember it. Now it's
Just
my.
kidding. Yeah,
now it's the thing I
Now
see
it's
through
your
everybody.
default
Yeah.
filter.
Yeah.
Cool.
So to plug, I'm RubyMarez.com. I do a bunch of comedy shows in LA. I can't think of my next one. Oh, October 16th, Puppy Cat show at the Clubhouse, 9 p.m. I also have 2 companies that I run with my bestie, Brooke Siebold. One is called Sky High Vibes, and it's cannabis and crystals and guided meditation. She's a beautiful writer. The words that she writes will move you into another plane. She's a liner, you know, vibrational liner. And then we have another company called Lucid Dream Makers where we create experience for adults to experience childlike joy. So we throw like Double Dare inspired birthday parties with trivia and obstacle courses, which Ari was at. And there was some resistance at first to get dirty, but then I was like, I know you're going to like to get in the mud. Get dirty, girl. And we wrote a pilot together that is being taken to a festival in September, the IFP Festival. So
Awesome.
yeah, you'll hear more about that, I'm sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, Jed, now's the time in the show where we have to say goodbye.
Yep. Well, everybody, you know where to find us. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify. Pretty much wherever you find a podcast, we'll be there. Recommend it to a friend. Check us out on our website, cavemanpoetsociety.com, on Instagram at Caveman Poet Society, Twitter at Caveman Poet Pod, and I think that about does it. But remember, guys, think about what you eat. Be mindful of your practices. Be kind. Meditate. Exercise. Eat the right foods. Get out there in your neighborhood and do some good. Spread some love. Until next time, peace.
Everybody did a really good job on the pod.
Said Evan
Yo.
did a really good job on the pod.
Thank you. Nathan
Yeah.
did a really good job on the pod.
Ruby Marez did
Ruby,
a really
Ruby.
good job on the pod.
Ruby.
And Jed
Jed.
did a really good job on the pod.
Yeah, you did, Jed.
Everybody did a really good job. Everybody did a really good job. Everybody did